What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and it's kind of a boring game. Kind of seemed like, honestly, a lot of these Chelsea players look like they sort of just said, okay, let's just get through to next season. Because that's what it kind of felt like. I mean, this game was very much on autopilot for really both teams. I mean, Leicester were basically just sitting back, looking to counter most of the game, and we were just doing our normal passing possession build up and then wasting chances at the end. So yeah, aside from two moments of stunning play from Alonso, both in the good and the bad sense, I mean, it was basically just run of the mill average performance for both teams, and it was kind of boring because of that. So I was hoping to see. I mean, I know a draw means we've now definitely made sure we're in third, thanks to Arsenal, because just like last season, we're relying on the teams below us to screw up to make sure we finish in the top four. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just, I wanted to see a little bit more. I wanted to see a little bit more passion from these players after losing the FA Cup final. Something to show that hurt, and we want to take out our frustration. Instead, it just looked like it hurt, and I just don't want to play now because of it. Then why are you here? This is your job. You go out there and you do your job, but nobody really seemed like they wanted to today. Even Stuart Atwell seemed like he wasn't really wanting to do his job today. Very, very inconsistent calls overall. Yellow cards for non-fouls for Conte, but then whenever Pulisic's making a run in and Amarty trips him up as he's about to make a break into the box, no card there. So it's just like, yeah, everybody today was just on autopilot, just doing the bare minimum. So start with Tuchel, another bare minimum game for him. Because, yeah, I mean, the lineup very standard. You've got Kovacic out, so Conte steps in the midfield. Same back line, same wing backs, front three. For some reason, Mount comes out. Because, I don't know, you want to fuel the rumors that he's going to leave? Why wouldn't Mount play? If anybody, he should be one of the ones that's looking to bounce back, because he was the one that missed the game-losing penalty. So he should be one of the ones that's like, put me in, coach. I want to go out there and I want to prove that was my fault, and I'm going to prove that I'm better than that. I'm going to prove that I'm a better player than that. But no, on the bench, doesn't even come off the bench, and for that I have to say why. For that I have to say, Tuchel, you still haven't found your brain? Still completely lost there, bud? Because, yeah, why wouldn't Mount come in today? We needed more up top. Between Lukaku and Ziyech, and honestly kind of Pulisic, but Pulisic was at least moving. But between Lukaku and Ziyech, there was a lack of movement up front today. We needed somebody to go in there and just make some runs. We didn't have Werner. Mount can do it. Get him in there, make some runs. Honestly, Havertz should have come in sooner, because he also makes some decent runs. But aside from Pulisic, who, unfortunately, while making runs, for some reason has lost his shooting boots, yeah, we had nothing up front. And we don't make any changes. In fact, Tuchel makes defensive changes by bringing on Azpilicueta and moving James into the midfield and pulling off Pulisic. So now we've only got two up front with three in the midfield, as if we're worried we're going to lose the game somehow. And on top of that, you've also taken your attacking wingback who sends in great crosses, and you've moved him into the middle, which admittedly his crosses haven't been great recently, but still, he's better when he's outside and he's trying to make things happen out there. You took him out of that position, put him in the midfield, and then you put somebody who's not been good on the ball, Azpilicueta. It's unfortunately something, it's never been a part of his game, but recently it's really taken a downturn. You look at the Everton game where he gave up the goal because of a bad touch. He's made some bad passes in a couple of the recent games that were dangerous for us. So you put him out wide, so now he's getting on the ball, and he's not going to really make anything happen, because that's not really part of his game. He works hard, and he's a good defender, but he's not the type of guy that you give him the ball out wide, he's going to send in a great cross. That, most of the time, is James. So what was the reason for that change? Loftus-Cheek coming on, I get it. He's a runner. You put him in there. He's also a big body, so maybe a bit more control in there. Although coming on for Conte, Jorginho wasn't having a bad game, so I won't harsh on that one. And then the final one, Havertz on for Lukaku. I mean, that's just making things slightly better. You got a guy who's going to move a little bit more than Lukaku does. because Havertz isn't the most mobile player. He still likes to, stay up top and then drop in and receive the ball and then turn and make something happen. But he's still going to mostly stay up top. He's not going to make runs whenever we get the ball up there. So yeah, just nothing really made sense for Tuchel today. He didn't really look to affect the play and make us go win the game. It was just kind of one of those, we'll play it easy, we'll get our point, make sure we're in third, and then we're good, and we're happy with that. And I'm not happy with that. So another example for me of why Tuchel needs to be gone, because I'm sick of watching these games where he doesn't do anything to affect us in a positive manner, and it's like he doesn't know what options he has on the bench and what he can get out of this team. So yeah. Onto the individual performances. Mendy, I will say, people have been calling for Kepa to start. I don't see that still. I still think Kepa's a way worse keeper. He's not saving that shot from Maddison either. But yeah, Mendy's definitely not been the game changer that he has been in the past. So there's definitely been a down slope there for him. And I don't know what it's going to take, because obviously, Kepa's not going to do anything to win that spot from him. So he's not really being pushed at the moment, so maybe we need to look to bring in somebody who is going to push him for that spot, because at the moment it does sort of feel like he's not really improving, and he's not stagnating, he's actually getting worse, and he's not making the same game-saving saves that we've seen him make in the past, because he has done it several times. So it's almost like, because De Gea has had his moments as well, where he's really had some goof-ups and had a few games where he looked awful. And yet, we still know he's saved Man U several times. So it's like Mendy obviously will still have those moments, and he'll still have those games where he will save us. But it feels like, for at least this past, like the last quarter of the season or so, he's not been that keeper for us. He's just been kind of there. He'll make some good saves, but for the most part, just kind of there to fill in the gaps. But nothing to help us win games, which is what we need from him. So hopefully he can find that form again next season, because we're going to need it if we're going to want to challenge for the title. The back three, Chalobah, another very solid game for him. Didn't really see any issues with him. Honestly, had probably the best chance of the first half before the goal. And probably one of the best chances of the second half. Obviously, Pulisic's miss was the best chance that we should have scored from. But yeah, he had a really good chance off a corner, unfortunately, going up for a header, challenging, and it was right at Schmeichel. But yeah, first half, that shot that he took from about 20-25 out was really well hit. Good save from Schmeichel. So he's showing he has a lot to his game, and it's just making me wonder why he's not been playing more. Why we've been seeing the likes of Sarr and Christensen while Chalobah has just been riding the bench. When I watch him play, and I'm like, he's a good, solid defender. He's not fantastic. He's not world class yet, but he's good. He's Premier League good. So we should be playing him more instead of League One good for Sarr or Championship good for Christensen. It's just, there's no explanation why he's not been playing more, other than Tuchel probably took some issue with him, something going on in training or something he said. Who knows? But there's been a clear bias against Chalobah from Tuchel in this past year. Silva in the middle showed again why very glad to have him. Maybe a little weak to get turned like he did against Maddison, although there were a lot of issues building up to before Maddison had the shot. But aside from that, just several great challenges, does well stepping out, knows when to step out and when to win the ball. So fantastic defender to have, and he's still showing it. Still don't think he's 38 years old. It's no way. It's not possible. He's got to be in his early 30s. He looks too good. And then Rudiger, the good and the bad today. Again, he had some good moments defensively. He had some moments where he did some stuff on the ball that was nice and looked to push us forward and had that energy that we like to see out of him, but also had those moments where he did something stupid, or when Alonso and him, it was kind of a mixture of both. Alonso was the main problem there, because it's your man that's going to win the ball, and you just sort of said, oh, Rudiger's got it, without actually making sure he got it, and ran away from the ball. So it's Alonso's mistake first, but Rudiger didn't really do a good job of stepping to it to make sure nothing came of it. And then whenever Maddison did manage to poke it away from Silva and look to set up the shot, Rudiger did, which honestly, most defenders do this nowadays, but he did that hands behind the back and then just kind of stood there without actually stepping out to try to make himself big to block the shot. So I don't know, just those moments have been peppered in his game in the past few, and I just feel like that's why I'm not too sad to see him go. Like, I am upset that we didn't do more to tie him down, or at least do more to make money off of the sale instead of just letting him go for free. So that part I'm frustrated about. But as far as Rudiger as a player, I don't think he's irreplaceable. I don't look at him and think, there's no gaps in his game whatsoever. He's the perfect defender. He's not. There's very few perfect defenders out there. Even as much as everybody likes to praise Van Dijk, he's not the perfect defender either. So it is one of those, sad to see him go, but not too sad. And today was another example of both why I'm sad, but not too sad. Into the wingback positions, though, James, again, I mean, he's in the right places. He's doing better, making the runs up and down the line and working hard. But, yeah, his quality on the ball has not been that good recently. And today, more crosses that just kind of went to nobody. His cross to Alonso showed that's the type of quality he has. But it used to be almost every cross, like at least 80% of his crosses look something like that, where somebody's getting on the end of it because he put in a great ball, a great delivery. Now it feels like maybe 25 to 30% of his crosses look like that. Most of them are hitting the first defender or to nobody in particular, just dumping it in and hoping. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's still struggling a bit with the injury. But if that's the case, then I look forward to seeing how he's going to start next season, because he'll have time to rest, get better, all of that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, a little frustrating some of the moments today. And obviously when they went to the midfield, it's not really where I want to see him, and it's not really his type of position. So don't really blame him for that. And then Alonso on the left side, again, had two stunning plays today. Going forward, stunning volley. I mean, stunning finish, brilliant. It was fantastic. That's what he can do. He's a great finisher at times. But then some stunning defending. And yeah, I was stunned when I saw him peel away as whoever it was. I think it was Dewsbury Hall, maybe. Whoever it was that was breaking down the line. And Alonso's just like, all right, Rudiger's got it, and turns away and just starts jogging away. I was stunned. I was like, whoa. Look at that defending. It's so awful. But, I mean, that's what's in his game, and we've seen it before, and it's why he should not be our first choice left wing back. So, obviously, Chilwell back in training. It's positive. It's looking good. Hopefully he comes back in with the same fire that we saw at the beginning of the season. But it shows that we need to go get a better backup option, because Alonso is just not cutting it. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to go get somebody that's supposed to take that spot, because we spent a lot of money on Chilwell, but we need somebody who's going to be able to fill in if Chilwell gets injured or if Chilwell needs a break. We need somebody who can go over there. And right now, Alonso is our best option. And we've seen what we can get out of him. We get some good stuff, but we also get some bad stuff. After that, we got nothing. We've got Sarr and Saul, and I wouldn't really classify either of those as options. Especially for a Premier League side that's hoping to finish in the top four. Honestly, I wouldn't even classify them as players that teams hoping to finish in the top half of the table would need. So, yeah, there's just not much over there at the moment. So I will, because some people who have been arguing with me on social media about why Tuchel still is doing a good job and this season has been really good for us because of all the stuff we went through, I will admit the left wing back position has really hurt us, not having a solid option in there. But that being said, that's one position on the field. We've had plenty of options on the rest of the field that should have been at least keeping us competitive for the top 2 or 3, not almost dropping out of the top 4. So that's where my argument is like, okay, no, that's dumb, because every team is going to lose one of their star players more than likely. Into the midfield, though, Conte, again, good. He was okay. He was energetic. But on the ball, I feel like he's got to start releasing it sooner, because he's trying to do a little bit too much, and he's just not quite at that same level. Now, whether that's, fitness levels or whether that's mentality, I don't know. But it definitely feels like he's not quite at the same mental level that we've seen him before, because I feel like that's honestly, you look at his physical capabilities, you look what he can do on the field, he's still showing that at times, but I feel like the majority of his problem right now is he's a little slow to react to things. So it's not that he's not physically capable. It's more that he's not reading the play as well. He's not reacting to the play as well. And so whenever a guy's coming behind him to poke it off of him, most of the time he's quick enough and he reads that situation and he can get out of it real quick. Or he can at least poke it away if they poke it back. However, now it feels like he's just a little too slow, so it gets poked off of him, and instead of his reaction being, I know what's going to happen next, I'm going to go win it and get it back and take it down the field, it's, I am a little slow to get going again, I'm a little slow to react and see that, oh, he's coming, crap, now what do I do? It's like he's not really fully focused. So I don't know what his problem is at the moment, but it definitely has hurt us not to have the peak N'Golo Kante that we've seen before, because really we've lacked a lot in the midfield this season. With Kante not quite being up to its standards, and then Kovacic being injured for a lot of the time, Jorginho being Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek has done okay breaking into the midfield, but he's not been the breakout star that we needed him to be, honestly, like what we've seen from Chalobah. It's just been a weak midfield for us this season. I know with Perisic being one of the rumored ones that we're in talks with, we're possibly going to go get. I know Rice has obviously been a target for a while. There's another one whose name, I don't remember how to pronounce it, but it starts with like TCH or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So we are in talks of looking to strengthen our midfield. And obviously we've got Gilmore and Gallagher coming back, which Gilmore maybe not because of his physical capabilities, but Gallagher at least has shown his quality in getting up and back and really working hard in that midfield. So we do have some options to look into next season, but that's definitely been one of our problems this season, though, is Kante not being up to his standard, and today was another example of it. Jorginho, he's honestly not been too bad these past few games. Like, he's stepped up pretty well. He's doing a good job of riding the pressure. The only problem I have is, well, he's doing a good job of keeping the ball. Where he keeps the ball is the issue because, again, we're looking to go win the game. We're looking to go get 3 points because we should. We should be frustrated to the point where we're going to crush you because we just got beat in penalties. So we want to lash out at the first thing, and Leicester just happens to be the first thing. And instead, we've got Jorginho passing it back about 200 times today. And I get sick of it. He's not that good with his passing outside of the short passes. And we just need more than that. We need somebody who's going to be able to not just keep possession in there, but also unlock the midfield. Find that ball that can get the pressure off of us for a bit. Find the ball that breaks the high press of some of these better teams like Liverpool and Man City. They're going to press you high. With Jorginho, most of the time we're playing right into the press because he's just knocking it around in the back, and they're just slowly cornering us until somebody just has to dump it long right to one of their defenders. We need somebody who, honestly, Kovacic at times will do it, but he likes to spin out of that press and get behind the press. So now they're having to track back instead of basically everything being in front of them. So Jorginho's just not very good at that. And because a lot of the Premier League teams, obviously they won't do it as much away from home, because Leicester today were more focused on just sort of pressing us in certain moments whenever we got around the midfield. But a lot of Premier League teams do like to send that press high, especially early on in the game for like 10-15 minutes. And I just feel like that's when I'm always the most worried when Jorginho's playing, because I worry that he's going to do something stupid, give the ball away, and then all of a sudden, great chance on goal. Because it's happened multiple times in the past. And it feels like he still does the same stuff that leads to those moments. So today didn't hurt us, but in other games it definitely could. So that's why I'm hoping we have better options next season, because I'm tired of Jorginho being one of our main, if not our main option in the midfield, because there's no reason he should be. Up to the front three, Pulisic today, like I said, probably the most mobile. He was making runs, he was trying to create, but God, his finishing has just been awful. I already talked about it, the Liverpool review, but today, aside from the one that Lukaku basically put on a platter for him, and all he had to do was just pass it in with his left foot, and for some reason he's like, I'm going to go with my right foot. But there are just so many moments where it feels like he's in the right space out wide. He gets the ball and behind the defense, and instead of looking to drive or, I don't know, do something clever with it, it's like he only has one thing on his mind, and that's, I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it out wide. And then the defender reads it and then just steps in, pokes it off of him, or out muscles him because he's not that strong. And it's too easy to defend against him right now. And I know the thing is, a lot of people when he first came in, oh, he's the next Eden Hazard that's coming in. That's not his game. His best game is when he's running at you at pace. He's very good. I mean, we saw it in the one instance where he picked it up and Fofana and Evans were closing in on him. He did a very good job of flicking it into the space and going, and then they had to trip him up to keep him from getting anything done. But that's where he thrives, though, is when there's space to run into, and most of the time we're facing teams that are packed in, and it's very tight areas to play in, and he's just not that good at finding those little balls or finding those little spaces to weave in and out of, especially like what we saw Hazard love to do. So I don't see him really, and honestly it was something that I've thought for a while now, and I may have even said it before, but he's had some good moments here and there where he's shown some quality, he's done some good stuff. So it seems like, okay, he has moments, maybe he can adjust his game to the Premier League and be successful, but then he has 2 games in a row like this, and it just seems like, why is he even here? Why did we go get him when there are much better options that can operate in the short spaces or can, muscle off a challenge, dribble into space, chop out a ball, cut out a cross, anything like that. And he just doesn't seem to be able to do it. So very frustrating again for him today. Ziyech, on the same note where I appreciate Pulisic's hard work and his running, but I'm frustrated with him because of the lack of quality and the lack of finishing. For Ziyech, I appreciate the fact that he's willing to try things. Because we don't really have players that love to have shots. We don't have players that are willing to take risks, put in a dangerous ball, have a dangerous shot from outside the box. Most of our players like to play safe and keep the ball and keep possession. And it seems to be what Tuchel wants us to do, is just keep the ball and keep possession, which of course leads to no chances. With Ziyech in, he's always creating chances. He's always looking to send in a great cross, look for that great shot. He's dangerous. However, it's not sometimes what we need. In moments where we make the great play down, we're behind their press, we're behind their midfield, it's a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-3, something like that. It feels like Ziyech in those moments is less effective. It feels like his most effective moments come from when we're keeping the possession around the box and they're really just packed in. If you give Ziyech a couple seconds of space outside the box, he's going to try to make something happen, and he does it with about 60% success rate. So it's one of those games where in the moments where we need him to be dangerous, he was. But in the moments where we needed to be a little bit more conservative and try to look for that pass that's wide open, he's looking a little bit more, I'm going to go direct, I'm going to have a shot from here whenever it's not really on. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship with him at the moment just because of that. Then we get to Lukaku, and yeah, first half, non-existent. Second half, a couple things, and then got pulled. So another very game from him, 2 in a row, and honestly, for me, that should be the last straw, because he popped up with a couple good games at Wolves and then at Leeds. Looked like, okay, he's fighting for his spot. He wants to stay here. But then Liverpool showed, not much from him. And then today showed not enough. Not enough movement. His runs, again, right alongside the defender, behind the defender, not dangerous. His hold-up play at times is okay, but he rarely does it throughout the game. So if your hold-up play is 50% successful, but you only do it 4 times a game, that means we've used you twice. It's to success, and that's it. So I don't see a need for him, especially with some of the players that are out there. I think we can go get a much better option that's going to work for us. Honestly, look for Harry Kane. That's my suggestion, because obviously Haaland would have probably been the first suggestion if Man City hadn't already gone and snapped him up. But my next suggestion would be go get Harry Kane. That's assuming, of course, that Tottenham don't make Champions League, because if that's the case, then, of course, he's probably going to stay there. But honestly, if they screw up on the last day, Arsenal gets over them, gets in the Champions League, I would go look and say, hey, Kane, you want to come play in the Champions League? Here's your opportunity, because we want you. And if not him, I know Lewandowski is another option I've heard of. Outside of that, I don't know. I haven't done enough research of my own to really decide who I would prefer to see. But yeah, I don't want to see Lukaku again as their main striker for next season. As far as the subs are concerned, Loftus-Cheek came in, did okay. Looked to control the midfield a bit more, looked to get on the ball. But final third is where he normally struggles, and again, he struggled today. Same for Aspilicueta. Came in, did some good stuff, ran up and down the line, looked to be an option out there, perfectly fine, but in the final third he struggles, and he struggled today. And then Havertz came in and, had a couple good chances near the end, but it definitely felt like he was more grasping for chances, and I don't know, I just feel like he needed somebody else up there outside of Ziyech to really provide him the opportunities, and we just didn't have it because Tuchel, for whatever reason, thought, we'll just go two up top because we want to draw instead of win the game. So I feel like Havertz was a little bit limited because of that, based on what I've seen before from him. But all in all, like I said, it was just a very blah game. Not much in it for either side. Leicester didn't have much to play for outside of, I guess, staying in the top half of the table. All we had to do was get a draw, and we were good. And even if we didn't, if we beat Watford on the last day, who have looked awful recently, we're fine, and we're probably going to do that, hopefully. Honestly, it depends on, are we at home or are we away, because it feels like our home games are just the worst at the moment. So hopefully we're playing them away so we can get the 3 points. But, yeah. I don't know. I'm just... Like I said, the players look like they want the season to end, and that's kind of where I am at the moment. I'm just ready to move on to next season, get some better players in. Would like to get a better manager in, but I know that's not going to happen because he won us the Champions League, guys. And as we've seen, clearly every manager that wins the Champions League at Chelsea goes on to do great things, right? Honestly, it's kind of funny because somebody asked me whenever I mentioned I didn't want Tuchel anymore, somebody asked me, who would you prefer then? And of course, I named 3 managers that are all at another club right now. They're like, well, none of them are available, so as if that proved their point or something. As if, oh, yes, so that just means there are no better managers out there at the moment. But one of the ones I mentioned was Ancelotti. Because right now, Ancelotti, who I know is probably not going to leave Real, Simeone, who I know is probably not going to leave Atletico, but then Conte at Tottenham, we saw what he did with a very average Tottenham side this season. And we know Daniel Levy's not going to give him money to spend, so we have new ownership. We'll spend for you this time, Conte, because you won us the league, and I believe if we get him back in and we give him the players he needs, we can see some great stuff here. But anyways, but it was funny because the guy was like, Ancelotti and Conte already crashed out of our club. Like, okay, Ancelotti won us the Premier League, and then in the next season, we didn't win any trophies, and we finished in second place, and that's what got him sacked. We didn't win any trophies, we finished in third place, and Tuchel's doing a great job? Like, okay, yeah, we won the Club World Cup against who? Palmeiras? We won the Super Cup against who? Villarreal? It's like, so what are your standards then? If you're going to say Ancelotti crashed out of the club by winning no domestic or European trophies and then getting second place, and then Tuchel had a great season because we won the Club World Cup against nobody and the Super Cup against nobody, but then no other trophies for this current season, and then finished in third place without even a hint, and almost not even finishing in the top 4 if Arsenal and Tottenham had actually done their business. And he's doing a good job? Hello? It's just, is anybody there? Is anybody awake up there? It's just ridiculous to me. But whatever. I don't care. I know like half of the fans may be frustrated with Tuchel but not want him out. The other half of the fans think he's doing a fantastic job, and then there's like a little sect of us that are just like, is nobody seeing the problem here? Is nobody seeing that there's not been any change from last season, and that Tuchel's been the problem in a lot of our final few matches with his substitutions and his lineups and who he's picking to play, hey vey, I don't know. I guess I'm just stupid because I definitely don't see any of these problems, right? My head hurts. Sinuses have been killing me today, so I'm sorry if I sounded all nasally and stuff, but that's just where I am. So, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game today? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe, future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Final game of the season. Peace out.